up all of these little Wagos, the old style, well, not the old style ones, but the push-in ones, rather than the levered Wagos. The levered Wagos are fab, but they're like twice the price, but they are quicker, so I'm trying to use them up here. These old push-on ones, they're all right. I find they're hard to work with earth. When you put the sleeving on, you can't push them in. It was dry all last week. One day we come to do outside lighting. I came out this morning here at like 8 o'clock and it was pissing down, and it seems to be sort of stop-start now, but it's got to be done today. I'm very glad I didn't cement that joint. I will do in a minute, but it was a through box. I've got to put a T-box there because there's a sensor going there. For some reason I didn't do it last time, I don't know why. Put a stuffing gland in there. That was the other thing. People were bang on. Oh, it should all be in, I don't know if you read the comments, people banging on like, oh, it should all be in galv pipe.
It would take about 2 weeks.
There's this little thing called a budget, right? It would take about a week to do this in galv. I mean, it wouldn't, but you could do it quicker. But there is a budget, you know. Plastic pipe is fine. And that was the other thing. People were then saying, aren't you going to clean up all of this? Well, no. It's not really, A, it's not my job. And B, that's the net result of when you give, you know, a sky fitter 8 jobs a day to do, you know. It only takes one person to run just a bit of cable, do you know what I mean? It only takes one person to clip a bit of cable around the outside of a building. Somebody else, a BT engineer, then comes along, oh, I'll just do the same then. And you just get this is the net result, you know, you get a dozen cables all just draped around the outside of what is a, you know, a beautiful period building. Yes, I've run out of black stuffing glands. So I'm gonna have to get creative with the permanent marker because I'm not going all the way to Golders Green just to go and get a stuffing gland. Yeah, we've only got one set of tools between us at the moment because my Milwaukee kit is just it's the batteries, isn't it? Yeah. That's the bit which kills kits. The batteries, by the time you go and buy half a dozen batteries, you might as well just go and buy a brand new kit. So it then sort of begs the question, do I carry on with Milwaukee or do I go with like Bosch or someone, or I don't know, or DeWalt, I don't know. I've got to make that decision soon because the new van comes this Friday. So, oh, that was the other thing. People were, these videos are now basically just replying to comments. So that's basically what they are. A couple of you were saying what's happened with ITS because I don't mention them. We've run into a logistical hurdle which we're trying to get around. So it's not that I'm not working with them anymore. It's just that we're running into a few sort of logistical issues. So while we sort those out, yeah, it's just teething issues we're running into. It's just logistical hurdles and smeg. So, but you will see them in a video coming up shortly, actually, because when I get the van, I've got to kit it with stuff. So you will be seeing them shortly. Just for the record, we mounted this on the angle because if you mount them, we were going to mount it over there originally, facing the pathway, the walkway. But if you do them to the side, for these to work well, you've got to mount them so you walk across its field rather than towards it. So if we mount it on the angle, we were going to put it there, but it's not going to work. If you put it on this way, I think it would just get better performance. We're going to have to prance around in a minute and do the whole walk test thing. Depends what the sensitivity, yeah, so we've got to adjust the sensitivity on that. If you just turn the sensitivity up, oh no, there you go. It's either the sensor head's got to be a bit high. Try raising the sensor head, actually, yeah. This is the bit where we're all prancing backwards and forwards for half an hour setting up the sensors. I'm actually just curious, because if people walk past here, you don't want it to keep coming on every time someone walks past. So if we just wait for it to go off and just walk past, because every time someone walks past here, it'll just turn them on and off.
Nope.
Okay, so it's got to be lower, right? Actually, yeah, if I just turn the sensitivity down, all right, just try that. Okay. This is what being an electrician honestly is all about. This is it. Not yet. It's a very sensitive sensor, this one. Fucking shit, really. Just turn it down to minimum. Right, that's minimum sensitivity now. All right. That'll do. That's near enough. Right, last job is fitting an outdoor socket. I ended up getting one of these MK. Apparently it's got a little timer in it as well, which is quite cool. Just comes with a little timer built in. So if you've got something like, I guess you'd use that for things like pond pumps or like timed outdoor, like plug-in lighting and stuff. It's quite handy. So that's got to go here. Little stuffing gland. Right, let me disassemble this. Very posh. That'll literally just go somewhere there like that. That's it. I like Tom, but he's a messy sod. At least his tools lying around. There they are. Very quickly, before Tom comes back, when you give him the tool case of the screws and nuts and bolts and stuff, and they're all beautifully organised, does that trigger anybody else's OCD, or is it just mine, where you see like shit that shouldn't be in there, that's now in there? It triggers mine. Maybe I'm just a bit anal like that. Using this high top is like it's not an alternative to armoured, but it's nice. It's nice in certain areas, like if you're outside or something, you don't need armoured as such. It's a good alternative, but it can be really hard to strip, especially if you've got long lengths of it to strip. But it is nice. It does have purposes. Like this is a good example of where to use it. Just like if you're just clipping it along a wall somewhere where it doesn't really need to be armoured, it's a nice alternative. That was a talking point among some of you about the quality of like some of the cheaper electrical accessories, because I've just sort of, not for everything, but I've moved over to MK for most things, just because I'm just bored of having to go back to keep replacing shit. We were replacing dimmer switches a couple of months back, and they were lap digital dimmers, and all of them I had fitted about 6 of them. I had to go back to replace 3 of them. It was about 18 months ago, which is really poor service. They should do better than that. And I'm not saying that they're bad products, but I think I've just got to the point I just can't be bothered to have to, all right, you pay more for it. I mean, I think that socket there is about, I think the one with the timer on it is about 60 odd quid, so it's not cheap, but you know, once you've fitted it, that's it, it's done. You haven't got to go back. And that is there is something in that. I'm sorry, I think there is. You know, you pay more, but there is an element of quality there which you don't get. I mean, I'm not saying that they're bad. I must have spent the first 3 years of my life, and I was using Marbo that back then. You used to get Marbo fuse boards, and they were Volex. That was the other brand, Volex, you used to get, and they used the same shell, the same chassis of the fuse board, but they used different brands. You just put their own name on it. But Marbo was proper, I mean, that was proper cheap shit, you know. But I spent the first sort of, I don't know, 2-3 years just using that, because that was all, you know, that was all your budget allowed, you know. Because not all customers want MK and Crabtree and the nicer brands. Not all of them want that. So it is very much a question of you sort of flexing to what the customer wants, you know. I must be honest, MK, I'd have appreciated some sort of thing to hold that up, but then I guess that's probably, you don't do that for waterproofing reasons. That Dave was just asking what these pair of bent tweezers are for. You know, ACO smoke alarms. You know, that little latch when you want to take the smoke alarm off the ceiling and you can't fit in. There are some times where you can't fit in a screwdriver into that slot into the smoke alarm. So I ended up using a pair of tweezers, which I basically cannibalized them. But that is the perfect tool. And sometimes they shouldn't do it, but you recess the smoke alarm into the ceiling. Over at Wimborne's they've got it, where the smoke alarm, they've got a flat ceiling, but they recess the smoke alarm in this little circular knockout, and it's so irritating when they do that because you can't fit anything in, but you can fit that in. So that's why I keep that on my little Weira set. I just keep that in there, just so when you come across those smoke alarms, you can slide them off. I can move the wee beastie back. One day I will start doing motor vlogs, but for the time being it's hard enough. I don't even know if she even starts. She should start. This is when she won't. Yeah, she does. Not everybody likes the noise of a Ducati. Some say it sounds like a tractor, but I quite like it. Yeah, surprised she started actually. All right, she can sit there for a minute. Yeah, motor vlogs will come one day, but for the time being, No, I've got too much other shit to do. You didn't get to see a lot on this one because I was busy doing other bits here as well. But they're all done, lights are all up. So we ended up having, in the end, we had one there, another one there. The original one was up there, and then one over that garage door. And then you've got that sensor there which controls all of them, and there's another sensor up there for when you come out of that door. So, but that'll do for today. I've got to go to another job now where I can't get any recording footage, I'm afraid. It's a shame actually, because it's a swimming pool. They've got sockets around the edge of this swimming pool that aren't working, so it's a shame I can't get any footage there, but yeah, is what it is. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, appreciate it. Hit subscribe, like, Patreon as well. Otherwise, comments below, and I'll see you in a week's time. Take care.